Hey guys, we're the Infamy Fantasy Esports team, and if you haven't already, check out our website, infamy.gg. We host fantasy esports tournaments, and today we're going to be talking about the metaverse. The metaverse is this crazy idea that you can have a second life akin to Matrix or virtual reality where you can live out on. And the game that we're going to be talking about that relates to the metaverse is Fortnite. So Fortnite recently had their Travis Scott concert, Astronomical, and it was a pretty cool event. This isn't the first time they've done an event like this, but a lot of people are speculating that Fortnite is trying to create this metaverse with events like these where you can do extracurricular activities that you would do in real life in game, like going to a concert. So I don't know if you guys saw the Travis Scott event, but what are your thoughts on the metaverse
I
and
saw clips of it. It was cool,
Yeah,
honestly.
it was
Definitely.
cool.
And it looked like they gave him a lot of creative freedom with it too, which is
yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
So like I think that if they're going to go down that avenue, it's going to attract a lot of other people that want to do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I have been to a Travis Scott concert before. Super lit. Good
Yeah,
time. And
yeah,
they really
Did he
did.
get huge and take you to space though?
No, he did
yeah.
not
No,
get huge and take me to space in the actual concert, but in Fortnite it seemed like you said like that they gave him a lot of creative freedom. It wasn't like it was a epic event. It was if you know it came from Travis's mind if you
I would
like
have
listen
loved to
to
be in
his
that
music.
development
Yeah.
meeting. Right?
I want to get big as
Just
fuck.
give me a cracked Earth that's kind of a theme park, and then I want to come in on it, and then I want to be huge, and then I want to go underwater, then I want to go to space. Like, yeah, a lot of stuff going on. There was even like a warning on the game mode that you had to queue up for. Like, I forgot what
yeah.
it said. It was like an epilepsy warning because it was just like this is about to be nuts, and it was super cool. But back to the metaverse. Uh, Games have the potential to unlock or achieve this metaverse status with things like skins and in-game purchases, stuff like that, that you can individualize your character and like essentially create a virtual version of yourself. Like, yeah, Fortnite may not give you the freedom to make your own avatar, but there are a whole bunch of skins that you can buy and purchase to individualize yourself.
Yeah, it
And
reminds me a lot of like Second Life. I've watched a documentary on it like a real long time
mhm,
ago, and it was one of the focuses was this woman who she had like a family that she was just straight neglecting because she was like, my Second life is like way better than this one. Like
yeah,
my real life is sad as hell, but I look good as hell, good as fuck, and have all these friends over here. So
and it's
screw my
like
husband and my kids.
yeah, and when you think about it like, from that perspective, Fortnite has it the metaverse, quote unquote, has transcended the game itself because kids are creating Twitter accounts for their Fortnite
Are
their
people role
Personas.
playing
yeah, their
Fortnite
Fortnite
characters on
person.
Twitter
Now
though? Like, is that happening?
they're not role playing, but there are social media accounts for people's Fortnite avatars, not avatars, but their Fortnite personas, who are whatever they may be, TTV, whatever, or whatever you're trying to do in Fortnite, whether it be creative, competitive, or just a content creator. It did create an atmosphere where you can make a social media account for your Fortnite
All
I
right,
think
person.
I'm gonna bring
that's
this
more to
back
like content
down to earth.
creation though,
Yeah.
and they want to like build their brand and stuff and have a dedicated channel for that.
Yeah, and
But
as
yeah, go
far
ahead,
as the
Blake.
metaverse thing too, like I'm
Mhm,
gonna bring this back down to earth.
mhm,
We're not getting the Matrix from Fortnite one, right?
mhm.
Like we don't even know what they're actually building. To be honest with you, what I think that they're going to do is they're just trying to make their game a venue for a lot of things. Like they've done movie premiere thing, like
Yeah, the
advertising,
Star
a
Wars.
couple
Hmm.
concerts, right? I'm not sure what other type of venues that they're going to try and pull off, but I'm definitely interested to see how they monetize their in-game platform in the future. But I mean that they're probably going to stick to like there's not a lot of things that they can do, right? Like you can like what they did with Thanos, right? You can do special mechanics for Thanos, right? Or
Yeah.
you can do what they so one game bought like a part of their map,
Yeah,
right?
for
Borderlands.
Borderlands
Hmm.
3, they turned the whole location of the map back in chapter 1. They turned the whole portion of the map into the Borderlands 3 location. And they
Yeah,
even
and like
had like the art style and everything when you entered the zone, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? It's just them. It's an interesting way for them to monetize their game, right? Because like, if you think about it, right, Fortnite is a free to play game, right? So that
Yes.
Travis Scott concert didn't make any money. It's not like you had to pay to get into that game, right? So how do
Yeah.
they monetize it? They sell skins, they sell merchandise, and then they have like you have then that earned media, right? So like now everybody's talking about it. No one will shut up about it. We're even talking about it, right?
Mhm.
Like it's a great way to get people into their platform, right? And as they grow that and create more consistent events, it's just going to draw more people into their game. Maybe not for the Fortnite game itself, but for the events. So you get like an even wider net. And I think that that's what they're trying to build out more than something like where you're going to have a second life in game. You know what I'm
But what I
saying?
find interesting is that like they're not reusing these things. Like the Marshmallow event, they could have had a bunch of different like musicians like use that framework that they built.
Yeah.
But instead, the next thing they did was like Star Wars or something, and that was an entirely different experience. And then this Travis Scott concert was an entirely different experience. So it feels like they're just like experimenting with like, what can we do? How can we like kind of push the boundaries on these? And I'm just curious what it's leading up to.
Yeah, and just in going back to the point that you made, Blake, they kind of did do that with the whole game was there was a whole hype point built up around this Travis Scott concert. The week before the concert was released, there was a location on the map right outside of Sweaty Sands where they had one day it was just like, oh, there's a platform there. And then like, all right, there's a platform there. And then like a couple days later, it's like, all right, now there's Travis Scott heads around the platform. And then there's like
They kind
cranes
of
and
gave it
stuff.
away, didn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. There's like yeah, there's
Travis
cranes.
Scott
It was it
It's
was
heads.
all
kind
it
of
was all
sick.
announced. It was all announced beforehand. So like everyone knew it was coming on this date. There
Okay.
was gonna be a Travis Scott concert. But in the game, it was like they were building the stage. Cranes showed up
Yeah,
and
it's
the
cool.
map was evolving slowly throughout the week to build this stage for Travis Scott for the concert. By the last day, the stage was fully built. The roller coaster ride that is a staple in Travis Scott concerts, the on that he
Yeah, it
puts on
reminds
his
me of, like
stage
what
was there.
Overwatch did, what you're used to do with like
Mhm.
character releases, where like they connected like the lore behind that character to
Yeah.
like they adjust the map, like a New Bonny
So
Airport or whatever.
it is kind of like a real life experience where like if Travis Scott were to host a concert in my backyard, you wouldn't need those cranes and stuff to build this stage, and they did do that in game.
Yeah,
And you could visit these locations, which I think is cool. But back to the venue idea, I think a lot more games should take from Fortnite and realize that you're not just a game. You have a large audience, and you can. I'm not saying sell out and like ad everywhere, but you can do creative and cool collaborations with outside companies to boost both of your reputations. You know?
you have to do it in the right way though.
Yeah, in a
Like
tasteful way,
Fortnite.
obviously.
Well, no, not even like tasteful. You can go like terrible with it. It doesn't matter. It's just like Fortnite is in a unique position where they have such a large captive audience that they can get the likes of Travis Scott and Marshmallow Head and Disney to work with them, right? Like if you're gonna start, if other games are not going to be able to do it in the same way. Can they do the same thing? Yes, but are they going to be able to do it in the way that Fortnite does it? No,
Mhm.
because they don't even have like imagine the budget that it would take to produce some of the stuff that they put out, right? Like the other game companies are not going to shill out that amount of money that it probably took to create the Travis Scott concert, and then do another unique thing with like Marshmallow Head, and then do another unique thing. You know, they have this system built in where they're creating all these assets constantly. So they already have the pipeline to do it. So they might as well capitalize on it. And it's a
Yeah,
really
that's true.
interesting way that they took their company and then created. They're now going to pump out custom content for whoever wants to create it because, to be honest, they're probably running out of ideas for skins at this point. So, like, some new blood is probably a good idea, right?
Yeah, but something you said off camera was the Minecraft releasing all their assets for their players to have access to, and Fortnite has done it too with their creative mode. I think more games should offer that kind of creative freedom to the player base. Like you were saying, they created all of these assets, or games create all these assets in general. Why not just allow your player base to have fun with them and let them loose? You know, you can
Yeah, and
create some cool stuff with that.
the reason that we were talking about that too, and we're going to
Mhm.
get to it after this, is what they're working on now, right? everyone's like, oh, they're calling it the metaverse, but what I really think it is probably either community assets, like or like a dev toolkit, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to use, like, they're going to probably have a lot of user generated content, and then also like if somebody wants to have an event, right, you give them the tools to do it themselves rather than having to produce it in house constantly. And then it will grow on its own, like we were saying with Minecraft, how it exploded once they released those developer
Yeah.
toolkits, and then people started modding it and everything. So like you can create a large community around that of user generated content. But what we're concerned about right now is what's going to happen to their competitive scene. Right? They're not
Yeah.
working on their
Yeah.
main game. What are they working on?
Yeah. Tim Sweeney said in a tweet that Fortnite's a game for right now, but in a year, check back with me, essentially. So they have plans to expand it beyond
Yeah,
just
to
being a
make it
game to the metaverse.
like
Yeah.
a platform.
Yeah, to
So
make it a platform, but a lot of people have speculated, like you're saying, Blake, that they're sacrificing their game updates because Fortnite was originally known for weekly updates and new content all the time, and now it's the content updates are they are there. There was a recent one where they updated the new POIs added. They changed like the shark to a prison, but they haven't really dished out those new weapons. Or people say that, oh, maybe it's for competitive, but with this new idea of the metaverse, they might be thinking about longevity for their game. And a good point that was brought up in a video I watched about the topic was that all games die at some point, and you Fortnite may or Epic Games may be trying to circumvent that and transcend just being a game by becoming a platform.
Well, yeah. Also, too, like maybe they'll shift focuses, right? Like,
So do you
but
think it's a good play or a bad play to focus on the longevity of your game and sacrifice for maybe for your competitive scene?
as
yeah,
a business, yes,
Yeah.
100%.
yeah, 100% it does. Like,
I think the game will always be around though, but I think they are just because like, they've probably peaked out on game wise for the most part. And if you want to really get the max amount of out of your properties, then this is a great way to approach it is kind of open the gates to whatever is
Hmm.
possible. Like, who would have
Yeah.
thought a concert and all these things would be possible, but it's just like I do worry about like the esports scene, which they've already have been pretty hands off on in a lot of ways, besides just like dishing out checks. But the fact that like a lot of companies see sports as a commercial for your game, and it's like, do you really need a commercial for your game when your game is a commercial for everything else? Like, it's
Yeah.
well, that's not really gonna they that feeds into each other, like the products you're promoting and your game itself. And so why do you even really need these sports at that point?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be completely hands off with esports. They may be putting it on the back burner for now because if you have you've established the longevity of your game by turning it into a platform, esports will always be there. You can always make the balance tweaks. You can always nerf aim assist or whatever the issue may be. That flavor of the month issue that can
Hmm.
always be fixed, but you can't always capitalize on your users and make your game last for longer than it should. I think they're
Yeah, that's a
taking
good
the right
point
Hmm.
because
steps.
it is beneficial for if it's beneficial for the game, it's beneficial for the
Yeah, yeah,
esport because it's like, okay, so you have the most die-hard esports scene ever, but then everyone else is jumping off your game to the next big thing.
yeah. Hmm.
Keeping your game the big thing is helpful for that
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. And I think they do. A lot of people may give Epic a lot of shit for not focusing on competitive and not caring about their game, but I do think they care about their game more so than people think, and they're looking 10, 15 years down the line to make it last so that way you can have your $100,000 FNCSs more than just two times,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, well,
galactic
these
brain.
Epic isn't like addressing these kids' problems. Like, oh, they're not addressing my very individualistic, very narrow mindseted problem, so they don't care
Mhm.
about us. But like, yeah, I think these special events kind of lend themselves to the BR
Mhm.
genre because you can, if you really care about the competitive scene, you don't have to even acknowledge it's there. You just like ignore it and you go around the map, or if you do want to, you can land there or whatnot. But it can help draw the attention back to Fortnite when, yeah, like kind of what Steve alluded to earlier. It's like when other games come in, like, yes, Valorant's very hot right now, but can they do something like that even if like they're at the same level just based on the gameplay and the mechanics of that game? you can't really have like a concert in the middle
Yeah.
of a Valorant game. That wouldn't make sense. But like
Mhm.
this open map, like you can throw any shit in there.
Yeah, yeah. And like one of the major problems that everyone complains about with Fortnite is it's so hard to just pick up and just play it as a new user base. And by doing things like this, you address those problems by creating these events where for new users to just go in and just like chill out with your boys and watch a Travis Scott concert. But it also does create another issue is this the direction that we want games to go in where no one's going outside anymore and like you can
You
now
can have
every
better
musician's and now
experience.
every musician's trying to to have their concert on Fortnite. It's
I
like, oh,
mean, right
Now
now
everybody
it's like
instead of packing out
95,
a 10,000
95
person venue.
here. I'm not going outside for long periods of time.
Imagine not having to get a tour bus and not having to
Yeah,
fly
that's what I'm
out.
saying. Like if you
Do you
don't
think
have
it's gonna be the? It's not gonna be the
imagine
fans. It's
not
gonna
even
be the
having to be there.
musicians are gonna be like, nah, I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
done
imagine not
touring. I
you don't
can
even have
just
to be
tour on
there.
Recorded the
Fortnite.
song once, just play
Yeah,
it in front of the green of the thing, and it's over. Like,
yeah,
wow.
you're instead of what is it? I don't even know what a venue can max out at, but like I guarantee you, it's less than the
Hundred
millions of people, millions of people. Like you do
Yeah,
one
like
take,
Wembley's.
I mean, like
one
most
recording
like
for a million people. Bet, dude.
I mean, like most
Don't-
like venues for like the decently sized artists, they can do like 3 to 5 to
hundred
the
thousand.
decent ones are 10, like the regular city ones, not like the anthem theaters or the arenas. Those are definitely like 20,000. If you want to say like
Mhm.
you wanted to rent out the Boston Garden, that's like around 18K people.
Yeah, so like 18K Fortnite a million. You sold out to a million people. You know.
The
But it
the
is
ma-
like kind of lame for the artist. I feel like it's fun as an artist to like get to perform your songs in front of like a live crowd.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
that's
energy
that,
isn't
true.
the same when you're just
it's
watching
it's
it
a
on
completely
on
different
Fortnite.
Bring
thing.
them to the mocap studio. You can do whatever you need. Do it live. We're doing it
Dude,
live.
yeah, now you have
The
the Twitch.
audience,
Now
though.
you have the Twitch stream of Travis
Yeah.
Scott recording his Fortnite performance.
I
Nah,
don't
you
think the
have the
Twitch chat
no
resonates the
music.
same.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
just dancing around.
no,
You have the
dude.
no music with all the stupid like the
On
dots on
his
him and shit,
on his
and it's just
Vivo
weird.
on his Vivo channel, he released the Fortnite concert as like a actual like music video
Hmm.
thing. That's like huge
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the
it's
music
a
world.
self-perpetuating loop. Like
Hmm.
you got to think about it too. Like we were talking about it off camera, but I'm like, did they pay him or did he pay them? Like you know what I'm saying? Like how did this work? Right?
Yeah,
It's like it's a free platform, right? If you can get it, like all you're doing, like if you can get artists like that, when all you have to do is give them a cut of the royalties from it, you
yeah,
can
on your
pull
own
huge
personal skin.
names.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hmm.
you can pull huge names now. Like they can do a lot with that. Like even just with the music scene. But like
Yeah, I think
they're
it probably does more for him than them, honestly.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
just
exactly.
broadcasting your brand that largely into that huge audience of
Hmm.
Fortnite,
Hmm.
Yeah,
and
they
like we
now
said,
they
he
Yeah.
have
doesn't really have to do
It's like
much.
the only concert anyone can really see right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that too
especially
with
these
everything
days,
going on.
it really opens up like the metaverse and the second life stuff because it's kind of all we have right now. So it's
Hmm.
even bigger there. It's even bigger to do something like that today.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I'm really
outside of
hoping that they're actually building out tools for like Second Life. I want to see that.
Mhm.
That'd be hilarious, especially with their building tools.
Do you
Like
think
they
it'd be
could
like VR?
what? No, not like VR. Like not
I
even
know.
like
I'm just
Second
saying.
Life. Like how GTA is with their like role playing servers, GTA
Yeah.
role playing servers. Like if they actually built out mechanics like that, they can capture a lot of casuals too, especially with their building mechanics. Like what if you could just build houses and shit with it?
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
they have so many avenues that they can explore with this game. Then like that's kind of what I'm like what I was talking about before is like they have so many avenues that their competitive scene might fall to the wayside compared to how many people that they can get to play their game with casuals. Now they're selling house skins
Mm.
or like
Yeah, it's
build
true. Like the
skins.
barrier for
Yeah.
entry for casuals was like you got to be able to play this FPS game and building and stuff like that. But like, okay, take away all that, you just got to build. It's like, okay, I can
Yeah.
Yeah.
learn that. And it's kind of like
Yeah.
why Minecraft is so successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
And like
create your
I think it just ties in so well to their monetization scheme too. It's a fucking no brainer for them.
Hmm.
So like
yeah.
if like that's how I would look at it from anybody that's going to speculate on what they're doing. Think about how they sell their game, like how they make money with their game, and those are probably the assets that are going to get made.
And to those competitive players who may be watching this who are saying, "Oh no, Fortnite needs to focus on the competitive community where the diehard players." Imagine when Fortnite is at, let's just say, 10 million users. Just a hypothetical number. I'm not saying that. Imagine how big the prize pools are going to be when you have that many users buying skins and buying assets and stuff like that. Now your competitive prize pools are completely ridiculous. So only as if they weren't already, but
And all those people will go to watch your your
yeah.
competitive match in whatever the
Yeah,
theater
imagine
part is
they
called.
made giant TV screens with your Twitch stream embedded in them in the game, and then there's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of people. Like, there are so many things that they can do with it. And then, like, they complain about controller players when 90% of them are Jimmies with a PlayStation or an Xbox buying your skins. Like, those are the people that pay your bills right now.
Kind
Pay
of
your
Controller
pay
players.
looping back into like more of the metaverse kind of related topic. Like all the concerts, like it's still very early stages of like that supposed metaverse kind of idea where it's like each lobby caps out at like 100 people, so you're really only experiencing each one with that 100 people. Give it like maybe a few years, like what if like Fortnite's able to make the lobbies like for specific events, just like make
Yeah,
it so
just
like you have
no
like
limit.
thousands of people in a lobby, and then thinking from a business standpoint, what if you have the event but then you're able to sell specific seats in for the concert. So if like
Yeah.
if you're at a certain prestige or whatever, put X amount of money in, you get closer seats like as in like a regular concert.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, no,
that
that's
loops back to what I
disgusting. But, like,
originally was talking about. Are we okay with this happening? Do we want to
what?
not go outside and not experience concerts? Because I saw both the Travis Scott Fortnite concert and a live Travis Scott concert. Live Travis Scott concerts, phenomenal. It was definitely better than the Fortnite concert. Don't get me wrong, Fortnite concert was good, but the live experience, the energy you just feel when he's just
Yep.
going crazy and you're just
Yeah,
like
living
standing there
real
going
life.
nuts. Yeah,
Living
living.
real life
Live
is way
music is something else.
Yeah, do we want to deprive
Yeah,
younger
well, it kind of
generations of that?
reminds me of like living in LA. Like, I think a big problem is that we're just so overpopulated here, and it's like you want to go to these events and these like awesome bars and stuff, but like so does everyone else, and it's just they end up like super packed, and then it just isn't good for anyone. So maybe
Yeah,
maybe taking away some of the of
some
like,
of
You
okay,
spend
maybe
like
instead
almost
of
half your
yeah
time out in a line. It's like
Yeah,
yeah, it's like
less people leaving their house is also good for the planet. So I'm like, I'm with it. But like at the same time, I'm like, these things like what Jake was saying, selling seats, right? I think that's short sighted. I think that like it's better to get $1,000,001 than $100,020. You
yeah,
know what
isn't
I'm
one of the
saying?
big appeals is that there is no like pecking
There's
order in
no
the seats. It's
barrier of
like
entry.
I just get in. It's like, okay, I get the same experience as everyone else. Like I saw that article that kind of inspired this video by I think Matthew Ball. He's like look at it this at the Travis Scott concert more like a because people are complaining it's like not super interactive, but like more of like a roller coaster of like you're
Mhm.
having that kind of experience where it's like it's kind of free. You get to like kind of like woo throw up your hands and stuff and like run around in the Travis Scott concert, but it's still like you're still watching this thing at this point.
What if
Yeah.
they added a platforming element to it? Now it's interactive. Done. They just
What do you
had,
mean?
like
yeah.
you had to climb the space with them.
They did have like different phases of it. So when like beat drops would happen, you would get like you'd be able to super jump or run super fast to like
Yeah,
match that energy and the flow of the song, which was pretty cool. But I don't think it'll ever have that the same effect as a
as
live
a
Travis
real
Just
Scott.
being
concert.
Yeah,
crammed with a bunch
as
of other
as
sweaty motherfuckers. Listen to
Yeah,
this one guy go off.
you get.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all for the real experience. Trust
Mhm.
me, it was way better. But I don't think that like people have to like what Jake was saying, like them selling seats. And if you don't want that, or if you don't want this thing to like take over like these in game events, you vote with your dollar. Don't spend money on the game then if you don't like it. You know,
Mhm.
like the same thing with like if people are gonna sell seats to these concerts, right? Like not saying Fortnite's ever gonna do that, right? But like another company tries to do the same thing, and then they're selling seats, right? You
Mhm.
don't go there. People won't buy them, right? You got to speak with your money. Vote with your
That's
money,
true. That's true.
and
That
then
is.
the companies will listen. and that's the
I mean,
same thing
that's
with why
very
Travis.
That's very.
That's very altruistic of you, Blake.
Yeah.
That's a very uncharacteristic of you, honestly. That people won't be like, okay, that means that the front row seats will be cheaper now, and then just jump on it. Then,
I mean, that's fine, but you know
these
what?
scabs.
Then the values won't get over bloated, right? Or maybe they won't
They won't sell them out.
yeah, they won't sell them out, or maybe they won't be as profitable and they won't have it as much. It's the same thing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, some people will be into that because people power trip too. They're like, yo, look at me, I get the big baller seat.
Yeah.
It better come with the skin. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what they want.
What a weird experience to have a bunch of little Travis Scotts watching a giant Travis Scott.
Yeah.
It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, but whatever they do, to kind of wrap it up, whatever they do with their metaverse, whatever they're gonna call it, right? Hopefully that it actually adds to the game and it doesn't just kind of get the game unfocused and then people kind of just drop off from it. That's what I'm worried about.
So what, you think the people will stop playing the game? If anything, this will bring in more
right?
casual.
What if it doesn't slap, right? They're just doing all this stuff for advertising, right? And then they don't actually add anything to the game, and then people start to fall off.
Yeah, but it's more like it's just gonna kind of expand into something like like Fortnite might become a word synonymous with the internet, where it's just like I'm gonna go on Fortnite, and then that just means going through this whole expansive thing, and then that doesn't necessarily mean Fortnite will be not a part of it. Like Epic can expand with the demand, but
Well, no,
yeah,
I'm talking about their platform in general. Like, what if they just make something where it's like, yeah, I'm not into that, and most of your community isn't with that, and then this whole idea of them building to a metaverse never really happened because they focus too heavily on the monetization aspect that I was talking about.
So you're saying
earlier.
they have like the Nickelback concert?
Yeah. If they have
You burst in line.
Get the Nickelback concert on there, it's over now. Now no one's playing Fortnite. It's now not cool.
But I think the idea is to expand to the point where it's like, okay, there's a Nickelback concert over there, and then there's a Travis Scott concert over there. You go to what you want.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be like a
now
mall.
Now you have Fortchella.
Yeah.
Wait, trademark that. Mine.
That'll be the day I kill myself.
Yeah.
Dude,
Be
going to
awful with that.
Fortchella?
They might be coming soon. My boy, you gotta be careful.
Oh man, dude, fuck! I may have unleashed some evil on the world.
Yeah, but
I'm
my
sorry.
whole point is they can't. They also have to remember that they are a game, and that's why people are there.
Maybe that'll make for actual Coachella cool again. Like everyone will be like, "This is the hip thing to go be at Fortchella," and then the actual people that care about the music will be at the Coachella.
Yeah,
It'll be
just
like
before we wrap it up, expanding on that point, is this gonna be like one of those things where it's like, oh, everyone was going to like actual Coachella, now everyone's going to Fortchella, and then once Fortchella becomes like everyone's gonna go back. Oh, actual Coachella is a thing. It's just gonna become a never-ending cycle of inside outside.
Yo, it's all man. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Mr. Jason.
You hate to see it. But with that being said, we're the Infamy team. Check out our website, infamy.gg. We host fantasy esports tournaments. Like, comment, subscribe. Would you attend Fortchella? And what are your thoughts on the metaverse?
What's the lineup of Fortchella in the comments?
Who do you want to see at Fortchella?
It could be anyone as long as they write it off. They don't have to be involved.
Nah, without the entire Fortnite community just uninstalling the game, who is the lineup?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be only concerts. It can be anyone, anything you would like to see in games.